What's going on, family? It's your man Miami Patron here for another video, your guide to the digital nomad lifestyle. So what I'm gonna be talking about in this video is the 3 myths that people think about when getting started in the digital nomad space. So if you're thinking about becoming a digital nomad, these are 3 myths that a lot of people have been putting out there in the world, whether I've been doing research or I just hear about it all the time. So in this video, I'm gonna be debunking these 3 myths right now, because when you get these ideas and this thinking out of your head, you're gonna be able to live the life of your dreams and make that leap of faith, be able to do the proper research, make the proper decision. That way you know what to do, what's best for you. All right, so let's hop inside and let's break it down. So now that we're inside, let's hop into it. So the first myth that we're gonna debunk today is people thinking that traveling and becoming a digital nomad full-time is expensive. All right, so let me talk about my story. I totally know where you're coming from. That's what I thought, man. When I was back in California, I'm 23 right now. So back in when I was in California, when I was 21, so 2 years ago, I thought traveling was expensive. I thought it was for the rich people. You know, all these people on Instagram. I see all these people flexing on the gram, like, damn, that looks crazy, right? And I would see this stuff and I'm like, wow, you probably have to make a lot of money in order to do that, right? Because think about it. Living in a hotels of what, $100, $200 a night, depending on where you're at, right? And then you have food, then you're having to eat out, and then you're buying a flight every other week. You know, it sounded like it was expensive, right? And that's when I started really diving into the digital nomad life. And then actually when I made the trip here to Colombia. So for those of you that don't know, I'm in Medellin, Colombia, right? But once I got out and I experienced it for myself, I'm like, whoa, it's actually more effective and cheaper to live abroad and travel than to actually be back home in Miami or in California, all right? So for example, I did a recent poll, right? Now this is not what my research is, but this is just like a recent poll on my Instagram. On my poll, I said, guys, how much do you think it costs in order to travel full time? And I put the little bar that said, you know, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, up to $5,000 a month. And the majority, I had a lot of people say you need at least $5,000 a month in order to travel full time. So I wasn't the only one that came from this level of thinking that you have to be, that it's expensive. So doing that, I actually dove deeper into it, and I found out that when it comes to traveling, your expenses get dropped down into 4 different main categories, and that is when you can manage these 4, traveling can sometimes even be more cost effective than living in, say, a place like San Diego, Los Angeles, or Miami when you begin living abroad. All right, so I have some notes here, so I'm gonna be looking down at it. The first one is transportation, right? Transportation, that includes your taxis, your Ubers, your boats, your trains, your planes, and one of the most expensive costs to traveling is that transportation. Most likely the airplane. Like if you're planning on going to a place like Bali, that flight from between $500 to $1,000, depending where you're going for, will probably be the most expensive cost. But once you drop into there, it is going to be so much easier for that cost of living. So transportation. Number 2 is accommodations. So where's it that you're going to be living? Are you going to be living in a hotel? Because if you plan on living in a hotel full time, hell yeah, that's just going to be expensive. But there's so many more options that are out there now because of this day and age, that you could choose from things like Airbnb, couch surfing, going on Facebook groups and finding groups that are people that are renting out rooms and stuff like that, renting rooms. Like I rented a room when I was in Miami. So you can really knock down those expenses. Number 3 is food. Now you can't get away from food. Eating out is going to be a little bit more expensive than cooking at your house. But if you're staying in a hostel or an Airbnb, you most likely have a kitchen. But you don't have to go eat at a 5-star restaurant every time you go out. Look at the economical options. Like here in Medellin, the average meal is anywhere from $2 to $5, right? So you can have a really nice meal eating out and not have to spend a lot of money. And the next one is fun and miscellaneous, right? The fourth category to making sure you reduce your expenses when traveling as a digital nomad is your fun and your miscellaneous, right? So obviously the more money you have in this category, the more fun you're gonna have, the more shit you're gonna do. Is that simple, right? So, and just to prove a point of the cost of living, I want you to check out my video. I'm going to put in the cards here or in the description below, where I actually made a video of my cost of living here in Medellin, Colombia, and how I literally go grocery shopping and spend less than, I don't want to spoil it for you guys. Make sure you watch that video, but I'm spending less than $150 a month in food, groceries, right? So think about it. I was spending that a week in Miami. So that's just an example of cost of living. So make sure you check out that video below. And because when you choose, it's not expensive when you choose a location and where your purchasing power is more powerful, right? Going to a country where it's purchasing power advantaged, right? If that's a word, right? For example, going to a place like Thailand, going to a place like the Philippines, Bali, Colombia, different stuff like that, where your US dollar is so much more valuable, so you can live at a higher lavish lifestyle, or live at a lower lavish lifestyle and save your money, whichever lifestyle you decide, but making sure you choose one of those countries right there. So the second myth is it's unproductive to travel, right? So it's unproductive, whether you're traveling and starting to start a business at the same time, that it becomes unproductive, right? And that actually is not true. That is not true at all. When you begin traveling, you can actually become more productive. So when you're coming out here, and why we're debunking this myth, is you have to be disciplined, right? You have to be disciplined. Now, the best way to be disciplined, I talked about this on Instagram a long time ago, the best way to become disciplined is to limit your distractions. A lot of the times us, especially like if you're like me, I'm like ADD, like I'm always moving, right? I can get distracted easily. But it's so much harder to not get distracted. What's easier is to limit your distractions. Because think about this. Say you have 10 distractions around you. You have 10 distractions around you. If you eliminate 8 of them and you only have 2, you're less likely to get distracted, right? So if that's your phone, if that's Netflix or stuff like that, eliminate those distractions. That way you can then focus on production, right? That's a whole different way of thinking about your discipline. So when you when you're traveling abroad and building a business, it's not unproductive. You just have to be disciplined by eliminating your distractions and performing that discipline. Another thing is forming a routine. Now, a routine that is flexible. Now, listen to me on this. It's hard to form a routine when you're traveling. I mean, it's like, for example, finding a restaurant, finding a gym. Those kind of routines are hard to find when you're traveling. But when you form a routine that's flexible, for example, your time, like for example, let's just say I record my YouTube videos before 12. I talk to customers and emails between 12 and 3, and I'm free the rest of the weekend. For example, that's like an example of a flexible routine where no matter where, if you're in Bali, if you're in Thailand, if you're in Colombia, you can still stick to that flexible routine where I try to make all my YouTube videos before the morning because that's the most time consuming thing. Get it up and running. I feel the most excited in the morning where I can get those videos out, and then the rest of the day is flexible to feed stuff in. So you want to form some kind of routine that's flexible where it's not based on a location but based more on your time. That way you can increase your productivity. And another thing you can do is form working hours, right? Form working hours. Let's just say if you're working like say 4 or 5 hours a week, let's just say I work between the hours of 10 and 3 o'clock. Anytime after 3 o'clock is my free time. So when you start forming yourself like that and not be so hard on yourself, your productivity will go higher, right? Because for example, like today, my goal is to literally film 8 YouTube videos. Like this is my 3rd YouTube video today. And my goal is after I'm done filming on these YouTube videos, I'm gonna go out and enjoy myself. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, probably go out and have a nice dinner. But that's an example of like what I'm doing here, where I get all this work done at the very beginning, and then later on in the evening, I'm gonna reward myself. So that's another way you can get some stuff done. Hopefully you guys are getting a lot of value from this. Make sure to subscribe, that way you guys are always getting videos like this. So let's hop into myth number 3. And that is, it is hard to start a business while traveling, right? And this is where my expertise comes in, where I teach people how to actually start an online business. That way they can become digital nomads. And let me tell you that it's a false myth. False myth? It's a myth, right? Why is that? Because when you are traveling, your financial security is built on your work ethic. Because think about this, what I teach is not to, go from a job and then work remotely on your job. I teach you how to start your own business, how to become self-employed or a business owner while traveling. And so there's no guarantees to your income. And that is the biggest motivation right there, right? So I do want to give you a couple keys to take away, because it is not impossible. It is very possible to start an online business. While I've been here in Colombia for over 3 months, I have built the most solid foundation of my business, my marketing, my clients, my product, while I've been here in Colombia, right? Just here traveling and living abroad, I've been able to build one of the biggest foundations in my business. I'll give you some tips here on how you can actually improve your business skills and business growth while you're actually on the road. Right? The first step is you want to have the right business foundations. Now, I just recorded a video. I'm gonna attach it up here or in the description below, where I give you the perfect online digital, the perfect digital nomad checklist, right? The perfect business checklist, right? So you want to make sure you have those solid foundations when you are starting this business, right? Whatever business you are going to be growing while you're on abroad, while you're on the road, you want to make sure you have those solid foundations. So make sure you check out that video below, because I'm not going to go into here, right? The next thing you want to do is you want to form your business before you make that jump, right? You don't want to be figuring out your business, figuring out how you're gonna make money while you're traveling. Now, this is different if you're saving money and you have a buffer, but if you're like, man, I wanna travel, I wanna become a digital nomad, I'm gonna make that jump, I highly advise against that, because starting business is not an overnight success. You're gonna have to form your business, your product, your messaging, figure out which direction you wanna take your business, and that could take time. So when you're on the road, you want to make sure you have this kind of stuff figured out. Have your foundations, have your marketing down, know what kind of product you're offering before you go ahead and make that jump. The last one, which is eliminating your distractions. When you eliminate your distractions, when you schedule out your time while you're abroad, it is completely plausible to build a business, because that's what I've been doing since I was in Puerto Rico. Everything that I've built right now with Expert Course Seekers, which is where I teach people how to become a digital nomad and make money online by selling their information online. That's what I do. Everything that has been formed on this business has been on the road, right? I was doing my research in Puerto Rico. I was doing customer research in New York. I got my first sales while I was in California, right? I formed my marketing message here in Colombia, right? So everything I produced has been all on the road. So if I can do it, that means you can do it. And I wanted to debunk all those myths. All right, guys. So hopefully you got a lot of value from this. Make sure you subscribe below. Miami Patron out.